And good evening once again. We continue to follow breaking news out of downtown Salt Lake City, where there are fires, vandalism, and continuing protests over the death of George Floyd. We have Jason Wynn live in downtown Salt Lake. Jason, what are you seeing right now?
Right now, turn around, we're seeing people break this bus station, break the glass right here at Liberty, right off of 200 East and 400 South. Sorry, we're trying to move around here. There's a crowd of at least 400 to 500 people. People are screaming obscenities, so we really do appreciate. Sorry about that, but you know, right behind us is a Salt Lake City police car that's been set on fire. There's more destruction. John, keep coming back here. Guys, this is probably the wildest thing I've ever seen. People are trying to destroy government property here, things that we use to travel around in Salt Lake City. They got done destroying the police car. They've been dancing, they've been singing, they've been knocking things down. You see people are using their skateboards. We have not seen any police down here, and we're a block away from a police station. Take a look at that right there. That is a Salt Lake City police car that has been burning for hours. There's been people that have been trying to use that as some type of anger outlet. And if you've ever been to a smash room, that's pretty much what they're doing to this car. We haven't seen any Salt Lake City police officers. We believe that long as things don't get too out of control, that they're just letting things happen right now. But you know, there is a large, angry mob of people that are heading to the Salt Lake City Police Department.
All right, ABC4's Nicole Newman continues our team coverage from downtown Salt Lake. Nicole, what are you seeing and hearing? Looks like you've got someone to talk to here.
Well, Nick, a little while ago you asked about the message that people here, protesters as well as observers, what they wanted to get out. So we're out here talking to the people. I'm joined now by Janelle Johnson. And Janelle, can you talk to me about why you decided to come out today?
Yeah, I think most importantly for us is we just wanted to bear witness and be here in support of those who feel like their rights are being violated, they're not being heard, and that Black lives do matter.
Well, let me ask you this. You told me that you've been out here throughout the course of the day. When you see the events that are unfolding, what are your thoughts?
It's a lot of mixed emotions. I don't like to see the violence or the vandalism, and yet my heart goes out to them with compassion of understanding what it's like to be feeling like you're yelling into the void without being heard.
Now there's a guy named Ricky over here, and he's with this woman named Danielle. He's been trying to get people outside of the 7-Eleven because this looting, he says, is drowning their message here. But you can see there's people still inside there. They're grabbing whatever they can. They've already destroyed all the windows here.
What does it feel like to stand in front of that 7-Eleven right now as you're seeing folks kind of stand around, but also the possible
here's
looting
SWAT's coming. Here comes the response, folks. Nick, take a look. There's anger down here in the streets. Take a look at this. Here comes the SWAT teams.
Hey Nick, if you can hear us, happening right now, Salt Lake City PD Rescue is just arriving here on the scene, also with a unit from West Valley City. Now this is just in the area where this vehicle has been burning. You guys see it right here. Police officers starting to move some of the crowd. Sadly, a man was just knocked off his feet. Officer now helping him up. This is in the same area where right in front of the city library.
This is Ricky. This is the guy I was telling you about earlier. This is Danielle. You can see more officers are coming in. Ricky, we were talking about how this was not cool down here in Salt Lake City. It's drowning out the message. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. There was just a looting at the 7-Eleven down the street, and we
saw that. We saw you taking control over that.
We had to take control over that. Unfortunately, we don't have control over what people do, but we want to send the right message that as African Americans, our life is at risk every single day, and by promoting this type of behavior, it's not going to get better. So if we can go ahead and definitely promote peacefully, but we need change from the police as well.
Now we know the National Guard is on their way. We have seen police officers, they're just flying in from oh, here we go, guys, here we go. You can see it right now. There may be some obscenities that are being said, but there's more law enforcement coming right down 400 South right now. You can see just how they took their car back.
Nicole, can you hear us? What do you see?
Hey guys, we are moving around, and right now, if you can see, somebody just threw a lime scooter at the police officers.
We're just getting this into the newsroom. We're told there's going to be a meeting to discuss an 8 p.m. curfew tonight. Governor Herbert, Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall, and Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown, they are all meeting tonight to discuss an 8 p.m. curfew. We're told that is happening at this hour.
The person that I have didn't want to be identified. However, he did show us video to verify that he was someone who helped the elderly man initially when you saw it maybe about a few hours or so. It's hard to kind of tell how long we've been out here. That was pushed to the ground. Can you tell us how he's doing?
Yeah, he's fine. It was just like his knee was swollen and his his shoulder was swollen, sorry. But then me and my friend saw people helping him to a bench, and I was like, can we help carrying him down the street if it starts to get gassed? And basically, we got him in front of the city council building to sit down, and then some people were saying they tried to call 911. They said we actually can't send ambulances right now.
Someone has a crossbow and is around in the crowd threatening to shoot it at people. And here we go, people are moving right now. You guys can see it, the vehicle within the past couple of minutes, now almost completely fully engulfed. I was able to get close enough. It's some sort of Mitsubishi model, and you can see West Valley in their armored vehicle trying to move in to keep people away from this vehicle. A few explosions from the vehicle have gone off, and it's even more fully engulfed in flames right now.
The unfortunate choice of some to inflict destruction and chaos does nothing to right past wrongs or rebuild a system that is unjust. Salt Lake City Police made a calculated decision today to allow protest, vandalism, and even the loss of a police vehicle instead of ratcheting up the likelihood of a violent confrontation with aggressive police action as we've seen across the country.
When you see this unfolding, what are your thoughts?
It's pretty crazy, but we've been dealing with this for so many years and nothing is changing. I feel like...
Okay, crowd is starting to move.
Head strikes right over here. You can see people punching law enforcement right now. There is a man getting hit in the head right now with a baton. Police officers are detaining him. Oh, there's a fight right now. It's right here in the middle of the street. This guy attacked a police officer. You can see him punching. There's milk being thrown. John, we need to back up right over here. John, come over here with me. You can see this officer on the ground. You can see these officers now they're trying to cover themselves, but they've got this guy on the ground. This is another officer that's injured right next to him. You can see that they're pulling out their crowd. And we don't know what agitated this, but this man did strike a police officer. Why did you do that, sir? You hit me with the shield. He said he hit him with the shield. That is his response. So he punched an officer because he hit him with the shield.
You've had a really tough job being one of 6 of our ethnic and minority leaders in the state. Can you talk about the frustration that's not just been going on through the country, but in our state as evident as we're seeing today?
Yes, thank you for having me. As you said, that I am Representative Sandra Hollins and I represent District 23. And currently I am the only Black American in the Utah State legislation. So, what you're seeing now is people who are venting their anger and their frustration, and they're sad about what they have been witnessing, not only in the last couple of weeks with the 3 individuals who were killed or murdered, but what has been going on for quite a while in America.
Rosie, we can report to you that the National Guard is now here. You can see the Black Hawk right there on your TV. They're flying about 150 feet right above this crowd right now. We just had a knife that was thrown at us. As we can see, it is still hot. It is, from this officer telling me, it is still hot, but you can see that there was a knife with a blade on the end of it that was thrown directly at us, at the media. This officer right over here, he is also arming himself. God. God. Ah. I'm all right.
Jason, are you okay?
Hello?
Jason, are you okay?
Sorry, yes, I am A-okay, guys. There was a firework that went off. I was luckily just been able to get out of the way. Paramedics treated me. There's a small burn on the back of my thigh here, but it's just a flesh wound. We're okay. What I want to do right now is focus on the matters at hand. And joining me right now is Sheriff Rivera. Sheriff, you're down here, you're on the ground. What do we do next?
Well, we're waiting for the decision makers to make a decision on whether to push the crowd and when to do it. So what I would ask is for everybody to remember that we are all people. We all need to have some patience and all understand every life is important right now. We have had multiple people hurt, not just law enforcement, but citizens. I'm just asking for some peace. I came down here because I heard that my officers didn't have enough water. And so I'm here, I brought water to them, and what I'm seeing is just extremely disappointing. These are our community.
Mayor Mendenhall, Chief Brown, thank you for your time. I wanted to ask you guys, we sort of expected that something of this scope was going to happen today with everything that's going around the country. But with the way things have developed today, where are you guys gauging on the situation right now? We've seen multiple officers who've had to step back with injuries. Some of our field crews have been injured. What's your guys' gauge on the situation right now? Do we expect this to go into the night?
Chief Brown, do you want to take that?
Yeah, thank you. We do expect it to go for some time, but we've taken, I think, the necessary steps to enact a curfew, to ask and plead, and we want people to voluntarily comply. We don't want to have to arrest people, but we are prepared to do so. And this curfew will be in effect until Monday morning at 6 a.m. And so we have the resources and to do exactly what we need to do to keep the city safe and free from vandalism and violence.
I can tell you what's been happening in the last 10 minutes here is that people have started to vandalize the city county building. There are multiple windows here on the ground floor that have been knocked out. We've witnessed someone throwing a chair into the window, and also on the other side at the City Bird Cafe, those windows have been vandalized as well.
These are pictures we just received into the newsroom. They're of a man who brought a bow and arrow to the demonstrations that we saw today near the area of 400 South, 200 East. Salt Lake City police do tell us that they do know who the suspect is. They know his identity. So far, they have not made an arrest, but they do plan on looking into it and possibly making an arrest.
Well, right now we're talking to the Utah Highway Patrol colonel about what happened, but we saw a handful of protesters who would not leave 2 hours after the curfew went into effect. I want to show you what is left here of the Highway Patrol, the police presence here. They were in much greater number here, and there were a dozen or so protesters who refused to leave. We did talk to one as she was arrested. I said, "Why are you doing this?" And she said, "Because we don't want something like this to happen again." Colonel, I wonder if you could just touch on what we witnessed out here 2 hours after curfew as you made some arrests.
What you witnessed was that the curfew went into effect at 8 o'clock. We're after 10 o'clock now. We're on Capitol grounds. We were very deliberate and gave 1 hour worth of repeated warning that the curfew in Salt Lake City was going to be enforced and that this gathering everyone needed to disperse. After giving that warning for 1 hour, our officers moved down, informed most of the crowd that we were here to enforce that curfew and to enforce the order to disperse. Most of the people left without incident. A few chose not to. They were taken into custody without incident.
There's a couple of people right over here that are now being put into the bus. This is where these folks are being detained. There are 2 buses down here, so you can see that there are at least 3 people that have been loaded on that bus. We've seen 3 others that were walked down towards the other bus.
Jason, have you seen anyone from the National Guard out from where you are?
Yeah, Rosie, take a look right behind me. Here's the armored trucks. There are about a half a dozen of them right here off of 200 East. The National Guard has moved in. This must be why law enforcement pulled back so that they could get some sort of break.
We just want to send it back out for one last look with Nick McGurk. Nick.
Rosie, we just wanted to recap. 2 vehicles burned today, including a police vehicle, dozens of protesters detained, countless incidents of vandalism. Salt Lake City Police, the facade here of the state capitol. We have the National Guard deployed, and there's a curfew until 6 a.m. Monday. Thank you for watching our coverage. Have a good night.